Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Eighteen minutes up before the news at 8 a.m. is our time. Good morning and welcome to Business Focus. Right here on Capi Talk 100.4 FM. Harare's Heartbeat proudly brought to you by POSB. Are you looking for a simple and secure way to shop online or make payments locally or internationally? The POSB prepaid MasterCard is the way to go. No bank account is required, and the best part, whether you're going on holiday, paying for something locally, or making USD transactions across the globe, online or in-store, you can shop and pay with confidence wherever you are. When it comes to security, the POSB prepaid MasterCard delivers faster, safe and secure payments, giving you peace of mind every time you swipe or click to pay. Visit your nearest POSB service center today and grab your POSB prepaid MasterCard to enjoy fast, secure and hassle-free payments. Remember, you can bank anytime, anywhere with POSB. 120 years of making life simply possible. Hashtag convenience made simply possible. It is Business Focus, brought to you by POSB. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, everyone.
Great, Kudzie. Thank you so much. So a lot is happening this week right here in Zimbabwe. Starting from today and, of course, on Thursday. Talk to us about the importance of this week, Kudzie.
Thank you, Tinashe. So, as you rightly said, starting from today, there is debt dialogue, the structured debt dialogue. Remember that Zimbabwe owes multinational, international institutions such as the World Bank, IMF, the Paris Club, and many other lenders that we owe money. And we have been negotiating we are actually in arrears, meaning that we haven't been paying, and we are now being penalized for that debt. And I think in total, our debt is roughly around 18 billion US dollars. And part of that debt is owed to these multinational lenders. And because of those debts, of course, there are other issues that people can talk about, like sanctions and stuff. But because we have not been able to pay back our debt, we, unlike other countries, we do not have access to new loans from the World Bank, from the IMF. We don't owe the IMF, rather. In fact, we paid off the IMF. However, these debts now rank pari passu, meaning that you have to pay all of them before any of them can lend you money again. So as much as we have paid the IMF, but because we haven't paid the World Bank, we haven't paid the Paris Club and many other lenders, we are not able to access loans. So we have had this structured debt dialogue for quite a while, and I'm not sure whether we'll win on this one, because some of the countries that are key to agreeing to this, such as the United States, at some point they said they pulled out of the negotiations. So, and I know that when it comes to, for example, to Zidera, they've got voting rights that can veto other decisions. So I'm not sure how successful we will be as a country to be able to renegotiate our debt. What we simply need, there are different ways or outcomes that we can get as a country. One, we can have our debt rescheduled, meaning that the payment dates can be changed. We can have our debt restructured, meaning that the way it is structured now can be changed. Or we can actually have a fund that can also help in restructuring that debt. Or we can actually have our debts forgiven. It has happened with other countries, so you can actually have your debt forgiven. So I'm not sure what form of agreement we are looking for as a country, but the ultimate goal is for us to be able to get those cheaper loans that other countries are getting. Like I have said before, the loans that we are getting from the likes of Afrexim Bank and other lenders, they are lending here in Zimbabwe at about 11% before banks put their own markups and fees and everything. So you've got expensive loans that we are getting as a country. However, if we manage to restructure our debt, it means that we can also get cheaper loans, which will make it easier for our business to borrow cheaper and be competitive. At the moment, without even looking at other things, our businesses might struggle to be competitive because when they go and borrow, they borrow expensively. So that's number one, the structured debt dialogue that is taking place this morning at HICC, and President Mnangagwa is expected to address that meeting. Also, the Africa Development Bank President Adesina is expected to be there. Former Mozambican President Chisano is also expected to be there. So the debt negotiations continue. So that's number one key thing that is happening in Zimbabwe this week. Number two is the national budget that is coming through on Thursday. That's when Professor Ntuli Nube, the Minister of Finance, is expected to deliver his national budget for 2025. And obviously, expectations are high. We have since found out that Zimbabwe, as a country, we are struggling to generate as much revenues as we can through ZIMRA. We are not generating enough, and we saw it in the last 2 months where government was saying they need to prioritize their spending and it shows you that they don't have money, and we need to start collecting enough money. However, there are also areas where people think that we need to reduce our taxes. So you see the dilemma. At one point, people are saying we need to reduce our taxes. At another point, we also need to boost our revenue. So, for example, some taxes that people have said should go, for example, the IMTT tax, which is 2% tax. People are saying that one should go. Others are saying at least it should be reduced from 2% to 1%. So that's the 2% tax. It has to be reduced. And then others are saying we have since seen that the sugar tax actually works, and the level of compliance is high. However, others are saying, please, let's reduce the sugar tax. I think we can collect enough for the cancer machines and the associated medicine for cancer. But we need to reduce the sugar tax so that it doesn't hit on the profitability of the businesses involved. So that is another area that other people are saying at least we should reduce the sugar tax. Let's continue to collect it, but we need to have a relook at that tax. And then also taxation of the informal sector. I think it's a key area that people want to see how we can incorporate the informal sector. I think after the budget is announced, I think maybe next week we can start engaging ZIMRA to see how, as a country, we can actually have a dialogue, have a discussion in terms of how everybody can play their part in terms of contribution to the taxes. What needs to be put in place for everybody to be able to contribute to the taxes? Because at the end of the day, we all suffer if our institutions are not equipped, our hospitals, our schools are not equipped. We all suffer if our roads are not in good shape. We all suffer if the likes of ZESA do not have adequate power. So that's the national budget, which is also an area of focus and interest this week.
All right, Kudzie, thank you so much for that. But let me rewind and go back to the issue of debt that you spoke about. There is a question from Muzina Mshonga. We said, can't our all-weather friends from the East bail us out for the debt or newer loans?
So you find out that, for example, one of our all-weather friends is China. And they've actually been helping, probably not in terms of having this historical debt be restructured, but they've been giving us loans. Remember the Wange 7 and 8 that is currently producing power for us. Remember that the loans are for China, and we are even struggling to pay them for that. We actually owe the Chinese lenders for that particular Wange 7 and 8. We haven't paid them more than 400 million that we owe them, that we were supposed to have paid, because every month we are supposed to pay them something like 40 million, but we haven't been paying them. I think we have got Zimbabweans who are not maybe servicing their loans. I think if everybody is put on prepaid meters, maybe the ZESA will be able to collect enough money to make sure that they pay back the loans. But at the moment, we are struggling. So, yes, they are our all-weather friends, but they've actually been helping us in other aspects. Imagine if we didn't have Wange 7 and 8, what the situation would be like now. We'll be in a worse off situation with no water at Kariba, but because we managed to get some loans from China and we built Wange 7 and 8, we are in a slightly better situation than we could have been if we didn't have that. So yeah, they are helping in their own way.
All right, another question says that can't we translate earnings from diamonds, gold, platinum, chrome, copper, lithium, and so forth into the fiscus?
Yeah, so already the fiscus gets some money from those minerals. Whether that is enough, that is a question for another day. For example, there are royalties that are collected for every revenue generated by the miners. There are royalties that they pay. I think they range from 2%, 5%, up to 7% royalties. And the miners are even complaining that those royalties are too high. And then when these companies make profits, they also contribute in terms of their taxes from the profits that they make from the minerals. So we do get something out of our mines. However, whether that is enough or not, I'm not sure. In fact, this morning a friend of mine was saying that there is need to have a relook at the extractive industry, which is the mining sector. And you are saying I think it's a bit more detail. You are saying there is need for more detail in that aspect, and in terms of how much we can get from that. So we need to look at other countries to say how much do miners pay in form of taxes in the countries that they operate in, because sometimes you need to compare with your neighbor. So, for example, if you're a gold miner and you make it expensive to mine gold here in Zimbabwe, then the investors will simply go elsewhere. So you need to have a balance and also be competitive.
Okay. All right, Kudzie, thank you so much for that. But a gentle reminder to everyone out there, are you looking for a simple and secure way to shop online or make payments locally or internationally? The POSB prepaid MasterCard is the way to go. No bank account is required, and the best part is whether you are going on holiday, paying for something locally, or making USD transaction across the globe. Online or in-store, you can shop and pay with confidence wherever you are. When it comes to security, POSB prepaid MasterCard delivers faster, safer, and secure payments, giving you peace of mind every time you swipe or click to pay. So visit your nearest POSB service center today and grab your POSB prepaid MasterCard to enjoy fast, secure, and hassle-free payments today. Well, let's get to look briefly, Kudzie, because our time is running out now. It's 5 minutes to go. Let's briefly look at the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update for Friday.
Thank you, Tinashe. So the ZSC, after almost more than a week of recording marginal gains, on Friday, however, it came off with the all-share index down by 1.73%, and then the top 10 index even worse off with a 2.21% drop. And this was on the back of losses in heavyweight counters, Econet being the biggest loser with a 13.78% drop. I'm not sure what's happening there. CBZ also coming off by 2.15%, FBC down by 1.3%, and then Delta easing by 0.04%. So I think the Econet, the loss in Econet there dragged the market lower. Even on the upside, there weren't huge gains there that were recorded. You look at Wilder was only significant riser with a 14.93% gain, EcoCash at 2.93% gain, and then Tenau, OK Zimbabwe, First Mutual Property were also the other counters that gained by less than 1%. So I think the drop in Econet dragged the market lower there. And then you look at VFX, it was also down by 0.28%. That's the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. On the back of losses in Axia, down by 4.02%. For those who don't know Axia is the company that owns TV Sales and Home, that owns Transfers, among other entities. So Axia, which was demerged from Insco. So those institutions are no longer, or those businesses are no longer under Insco. They are now under Axia. And then Padenga also coming off by 1.81%. We know Padenga, they are into gold, they are into crocodile skin products. So that's Padenga there. Citco International, a massive 18.81% drop. Citco International is slightly different from Citco Zimbabwe. Citco International is the one that has those regional operations. You've got Citco in Zambia, in Kenya, and other countries. That's Citco International. But a massive drop there by 18.18%, 18.81% rather. That's Citco International. Zimplow also coming off by 1.84%. I was looking at the latest trading update from Zimplow, which shows that the drought really hit the company. And according to management at Zimplow, they're actually saying that it will take about several years. I think they said 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, before we can, whilst the impact of the El Nino-induced drought, it will take about 3 years for the market to feel that impact. So it shows you that it really, the El Nino-induced drought really slowed down things for the likes of Zimplow. That depends in selling farming equipment. They've got Millie brand, which sells the traditional magejo, the traditional cultivators. They are sold by one of their units, which is Millie brand. And we all know when there's a drought, farmers simply stop buying farming equipment. And according to Zimplow, recovery for that takes time for farmers to start buying again because, for example, this season, they'll be going into the season without much capital because last year they didn't make money. So that will affect the business. And then also, they've got another one called Farmek, which sells tractors and the like. And I think, again, it was affected with sales down by, for example, Millibrand had sales volumes down by 48%. That's Millibrand between September, the quarter to September 2023 versus this year. So yeah, that's Zimplow there amongst the losers on the Zimbabwe on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange rather.
All right, Kudzie, thank you so much. Just a couple of seconds before we close it off for today. Thank you so much for today. We appreciate to hear from you tomorrow.
Thank you, Tinashe.
Bye-bye. And remember, with POSB, you can bank anytime, anywhere. With POSB, stay connected with us on social media at POSB Zimbabwe across all platforms or call Econator, a toll-free line 223. 24/7, dial star 223 hash on Econet or star 222 hash on Telecel and Net1. Or download the POSB on the go or send hi to our WhatsApp banking number 0781366666. That does it for Business Focus. We're back tomorrow morning right here on Capital.
Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.